He gave them to you. And the reason why he gave them to you is because you what? You needed them. You what? You needed them. Food and drink and air. You needed those things. So therefore, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrated in Musnad Imam Ahmad that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man su'ila an ilmin." He says, he was asked of knowledge. Alimahu, he knows. Thumma katamahu, and then he doesn't tell the people. He conceals that knowledge. Uljima bilijama min nari yawm al-qiyamah, aw kama qala alayhi salatu. On the day of judgment, he will have a what? A bridle of fire around his neck. Waliyadu billah. So one may say, no one asked me. But you know that the people they're in dire need. And you have the ability to give and to offer it as if you were what? Asked. Everybody understand this? So it's a very important etiquette of the teacher. He who wishes to give knowledge, that you have to be available for the people. The next point we say here is the Prophet ﷺ's humility. He's very humble, forgiving type of person. This man, he came into the masjid, as it says in certain narrations, and he says, "Oh Muhammad, oh Muhammad." He didn't say, "Ya Rasulullah, Ya Nabi Allah, Ya Abu Qasim," and things like this. He didn't say that. He called out to him, as mentioned in other narrations of the hadith. And we know this is a very common mistake among many people, is they call their teachers by their first names. That is considered to be a means of disrespect. Whether you say Sheikh, Ustad, or whatever, you call him by his kunya. Ya Aba Abdurrahman, Abu Muhammad, never Habib. Either Sheikh Habib or Abu Muhammad. Call somebody by their first name is considered to be what? Especially somebody that's teaching you knowledge. So you have brothers, they say, Mu'av, just like that. No type of respect, no adab. That's wrong. But just because someone does something that's wrong doesn't necessarily mean that you have to react to that ignorance. Everybody clear on this? And that's what the Prophet ﷺ, that's exactly what he did. That man did not have the proper adab, but he did not respond in the manner in which he was addressed. Everybody clear on this? Everybody understand this? And that is the next point. And that is the Prophet ﷺ was forbearing, he was tolerant, he was forgiving. Everybody clear on this? Allah knows best how many times in the Prophet's masjid we've seen a man walk up to one of the sheikhs sitting in a chair, and literally it's 300 people, 500 people, 600 people in the majlis. He's talking, explaining the major book of hadith. An old guy comes up in front of everybody, just grabs the sheikh, literally, pulls him by his robe. Just like this. Tell me about such and such and such and such, and hajj, and kada, and kada, and kada, and kada. Wallahi, I've seen it several times in the Prophet's masjid. And you know what those sheikhs did? They stopped the class and they explained to him, don't do this, don't do that, so on and so forth. Brother, there was one time in the Prophet's masjid, I had one of my teachers, he actually took the guy's hat off and started touching his head and showing him, this is how you shave your head, this is what you do, this is what you do with the animal. And he taught the man. And the man did not have the proper etiquettes. He didn't have the proper respect. But he still was what? He was tolerant to him. Everybody understand this? This is the exact opposite of someone who's ignorant, someone who doesn't have the proper etiquettes, and they're disrespectful and rude. And they wish to cause problems, or they come when we say a full cup. A full cup is a world of a difference. When someone who's ignorant, I don't know much, I don't have the proper etiquettes, what's the answer to this question? Just like that. He's old, he's weak, he's this and that. But someone who's young, someone who has read a few things, supposedly, and he comes to the table with information. Yeah, because I read, and I already know that it's haram to do this, so can you tell me what scholar said that? Where can I find this? Many brothers, they do this like this all the time. That's the etiquette of their question. I know it's permissible to do that, but I don't really want to know your opinion. I don't know what scholar. Just like that. It's not the same as an old ignorant man coming in the masjid. Listen, tell me what's the ruling on zakat. There's a difference. And we've seen these mashayikh in Medina turn away from those people. Rather, there was one time Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, he told a man to be quiet. He told him to shut up in front of everybody. The man came, he started asking questions about dhikr beads, this and that, so on and so on and so forth. The sheikh says, no, it's not like that. Da-da-da-da-da. He says, Hafiz bin Hajar, he had dhikr beads. Hafiz bin Hajar, he had beads. The sheikh says, Hafiz bin Hajar, he had dhikr beads? Uskut, sit down, be quiet, don't talk. So there's a difference between somebody that's ignorant, he's a little rough, and somebody that's coming to the table as a what? Sticking their chest out, thinking that they know something with the proper etiquettes. This person you're tolerant with, you forgive, you forbear. That person what? No. Have a nice day, I can't help you. I can't teach you anything because you know everything, that's first and foremost. And on top of all of that, you don't have the proper adab. And on top of all of that, you show me that you have the ability to have the proper adab, because you read this, supposedly, and you heard this. This man's come out the middle of the desert. This man is old. He has arthritis. He has this. He's far from ilm. You're coming with information. You're supposed to have some more what? Better adab. Everybody understand this? They aren't the same. They're what? They're not the same. It's a very important concept of a student of knowledge. Who to turn away from and who to forbear. Have sabr. He didn't give you your proper respect, but it's okay. This one didn't give you your proper respect, and it's not what? It's not okay. Everybody understand this? Very important. Khayr, inshallah, let's move forward. The next question is what? When the Jibreel alayhi salam, he came in the form of this man, it's mentioned that he did what? What did he do? What did he do? He sat in front of the Prophet ﷺ. Then else what did he do? He put his hands on his what? Between his thigh and his kneecaps. His legs here. Whose hands were on whose legs?
Both narrations. One says on his thigh, the other narration said on the Rasul sometimes.
Thigh. Anybody else? You agree? Thigh. Alhamdulillah. In Sahih Muslim, whose hands were on whose legs?
It's not really specified.
It's not specified. وَوَضَعَ كَفَّيْهِ عَلَى فَخِدَيْهِ. He put his hands on his. Everybody understand this? It doesn't specify where? In Sahih Muslim. So where do we know, or how do we know that Jibreel's hands were on the Prophet's legs? How do we know this? Another hadith or another narration? Which one? If it's a different sahabi, it's a different hadith. But in the common terms, we call it a different variation. But it's actual what? A different hadith. If it's different sahabi, the ulama of hadith consider it a what? Different hadith. But we would say in English a different what? Variation. And we wouldn't say it's a different story. It's one story with a different what? Variation. Everybody feeling this? Where do we find this at? And why? لماذا? Sunan an-Nasai. Ahsantum. Very good. لماذا? Why?
Because it had some details we said that some other hadith might not have.
No, why did he put his hands on the Prophet's knees? لماذا?
Showed the willingness to pay attention.
The willingness to pay attention. Give me. Teach me. Anybody else?
To show the Sahabas that
Adab. Anybody else? Anybody else? It's very important benefit here. We say there's several wisdoms. Before we even get into etiquettes of learning and this and that, the main wisdom was to cause more what? Amazement, not attention. Ighrab. What the heck? He comes in the masjid, no one knows who he is, he doesn't look like a traveler, he doesn't have the etiquette together, and on top of it, he puts a hand on the Prophet's legs. Now the amazement or the attention is a fruit and a product of the what? Of the eyes being opened up. Everybody understand this? One is a product of another. Everybody understand this? He did something that made the companions do what? Open their eyes. Once the eyes open, then they paid more attention. Everybody understand this? Then they pay what? They pay more attention. And then we say the concept of al-isgha is listening and the willingness to learn. I'm hungry, teach me. I have nothing, I have an empty cup, teach me. And also the concept of showing more respect and humility for the one that's giving you ilm. Because that's not necessarily the proper thing to do, for him to put his hands on the Prophet's legs. But it suited the purpose perfectly. And it made them pay more attention, wake up and focus. And to show a person, he went to the extreme to show how much he needed the knowledge from the Prophet ﷺ. Everybody clear on this? Everybody understand this? It's another very important concept. There are many students of knowledge, many people who want to learn, but they're, half and half. Class was late, but I can't, inshallah. And they actually didn't want to learn knowledge. You have to be hungry. Everybody understand this? As was mentioned, you have to have the thirst, the desire to learn. Everybody clear on this? Because what you're getting is the best thing. The best thing. And the person who bears that thing, you have to show him that what? That hunger. And there are some teachers that won't teach you until you what? Show that hunger. Why is that? Because I want you to puff me up and big me up. I want you to worship me, carry me. Why? Why do I send you on chores for months before I start teaching you anything? Huh. Much more than dedication. Something much more than that. That's important. Much more. Loyalty. What else? Humility. What else? Patience. What else? Discipline. What else? Tired. What else? Yani, in other words, all of these different things, they show you the nature of a man or woman. Before we start talking about knowledge and Bukhari and Hadith, I have to know what type of person you are. What type of person are you? Are you treacherous? Are you a slanderer? Are you a backbiter? Are you grateful? Will you take something and then totally forget about it the next day? Are you dedicated? Are you devoted? Are you serious? And most importantly, how smart are you? How what? How smart you are. If you can't get a basic mission right, go to the store, do this, do that, how am I going to teach you this? Everybody, how am I going to do what? I can't teach you these intricate details if you can't memorize a grocery list. And it happens wallahi all of the time. So Mufti, we got you to drink. I never said that. I don't drink 7-Eleven coffee. Everybody understand that? I thought you just wanted some coffee. I drink tea. So if you can't remember which coffee, tea from where, how are you going to memorize an entire book that I can teach you? Everybody understand this? So many of the pious predecessors, when they spoke on the lives of these great imams, they would talk about what type of people they were. That he had a great deal of intelligence. He was a strong man. He wasn't a coward. He wasn't afraid. Let alone the ilm that he had. But his integrity as a what? As a person. And this is what Khadija radiallahu ta'ala said to the Prophet ﷺ before any details of legislation were sent down from heaven. She says, you do this, you do that, you do this, and you do that. There's no way that Allah can what? Humiliate you. Impossible. You're too much of a good person. Too much of an honest man, a strong man. So everything that comes later on will flow what? Easily. And the same applies to America. There are some people, they seek knowledge, they teach knowledge, but them as people, what type of person are you? That's going to reflect is on your ilm and on your dawah. That's why we have slanderers, backbiters, these type of people, those type of people, they are the teachers of people. How can this be? How can there be any type of benefit taken from somebody who this is his character? Everybody understand this? So this is a crucial point for a student of hadith. You have to purify yourself as a person. You have to have tazkiyah of your own nafs. Everybody understand this? Many of the etiquettes of seeking knowledge are no more than basic etiquettes that a Muslim should have. Every Muslim should be sincere. Every Muslim should be patient. Every Muslim should work hard. Every Muslim should master his or her craft. Every Muslim shouldn't lie. Every Muslim should be respectful. Every Muslim should be grateful. But those who seek knowledge, those who seek hadith, then they have to do what? Their notch has to be what now? No sloppiness now. Have I clear on this? So when it comes to dawah, when it comes to teaching classes, when it comes to refuting people, if you have a problem with lying before Islam, and you still lie in Islam, all of that stuff is going to be soggy. If you have a problem with being a backstabber and being a treacherous traitor, when you seek ilm and you don't purify yourself, no matter how much knowledge you have, that same akhlaq is going to be what? And we can see clearly as day. I have a personal recording of what you said. It's a personal recording. How can you give out a personal recording of somebody? That shows that you're a treacherous type of person. Or you lied. Oh, it doesn't matter if I lied. He's a deviant anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. So what? No one cares whether I lied or not, or whether you have the proof that I lied. It doesn't matter, because you're a deviant. I understand this is why we're plagued with these problems. This is why we're what? Why we're plagued with these problems. Because there aren't the proper etiquettes from day one. This person should not be taught. And this person should be what? Taught, etc. Everybody understand this? Khayr, inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. I believe now that the majlis is a bit long. And that's another etiquette of hadith disciple, is that the majlis shouldn't be too long. And as one of the pious predecessors said, إِذَا طَالَ الْمَجْلِسُ كَانَ لِلشَّيْطَانِ فِيهِ نَصِيبٌ. And when the sitting is too long, then the devil starts to creep in. He gets a piece of it. Eyes start getting red, head start moving back, rope-a-dope. We don't need that right now. But in the next part, we will stop. I have over maybe about 20 different points here that I want to mention. Perhaps we'll have more time another day, another night. But in the next part, to continue to shed light on this tremendous hadith, on this tremendous topic. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to benefit from that which we heard, that which we read, that which we studied, that which we memorized. Ask Allah the Sublime to exalt to allow us to benefit from that which we heard, and that which we read, and that which we benefited from tonight. Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you all in beneficial knowledge and in righteous action. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you well for coming out, spending your time to listen and to hear. Allahumma ameen. We also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward the brothers and sisters, the administration here of the masjid, for allowing us to hold it here, facilitating it. We ask Allah to bless the masjid and allow it to grow strong. Ameen. And to be a means of supporting al-Islam in this town and in other towns. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Sheikh Abu Anis for his invitation, him reaching out to me, my not answering his call, not responding to him, not giving him the topic on time, going on WhatsApp and not looking at his messages, him begging me, Mufti, please send me the title tonight. May Allah forgive me for that and reward him for his sabr. Ameen. Sheikh Farouk for him coming out, he traveled from Connecticut many miles. Sheikh Aqil, his busy schedule, may Allah reward all of them for the beneficial knowledge that they gave. May Allah reward you well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me if I said anything that's wrong or anything that's incorrect. If there are any questions on the topic or off the topic, now is the time, and if not, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. 1 second, please, inshallah. أبو سعد معلش. طيب بسم الله. جزاكم الله خير. الله يحفظكم. آمين. قل آمين. Can you stop the recording, please? On both? No, keep the live stream. Stop the recording on the camera and restart it, please. Q&A separate. جزاك الله خيرا. طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Before we get started with the questions, how much time do we have, Sheikh? So how much time do we have? We can be here all night till Fajr. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, inshallah, let's see how many questions that we have on or off the topic. Let's see if we have any questions online. Any of the disciples online, bi'idhnillah. Right, fadl. Any questions on or off the topic? I believe Sheikh Abu Abdurrahman can come forward. Sheikh Abu Anas. The other speakers can come and partake in answering the brothers' questions as well, and sisters. Bi'idhnillah. It's supposed to be a banquet. You get a leg, I get a wing. You take a breast, you take a thigh. Everybody get a piece. Bi'idhnillah, the ajr of the reward of the turkey, huh? Inshallah, the turkey. Not Thanksgiving, huh? Tafadhal.
Could you clarify what constitutes a child being an orphan? And if a brother has a wife and the child is not his, and the child is young, what is his obligation in still raising that child?
Right. Question says, can you please explain what constitutes a child being an orphan? What constitutes a child being what? An orphan. Everybody clear on this? And also with regards to stepchildren as well. Are they considered orphans? What are the obligations of a man who marries a woman with children? That's your question? Very important question and very relative and very practical. Many of us here in the United States, and I'm sure in other Western countries, quote unquote, I'm sure there are many families in which there are children. Children before Islam, children from a previous marriage, many homes like this. If not most. If not what? If not most. Very important question. As far as the orphan, then it depends on the culture and the time and in the place. In the quote-unquote Islamic tradition, in the Arabic language, the time of the Prophet ﷺ, an orphan was a child whose father passed away before they were of age. Any child, boy or girl, whose father, not mother, not both, or not just the mother, but whose father passed away before they were of age, before they were of age of adolescence, before the age of adulthood in Islam. And that's because the word yatim is derived from the word yutum, ya, ta, and mim in Arabic language. And those three letters come from the word, or come from the concept of kasb. Yani, man mata kasibuhu, la kasiba lahu. Earning money, making money, winning bread, bringing home the bacon. Everybody understand this? So when the father died, as if he had no one to do what? Bring home. Exactly. Everybody understand this? Not necessarily take care. Because a mother can take care in their culture and their time. But the one who goes out and toils and works was who? Was the man. Was the father. Was the man. So therefore, if his father died, but his mother was alive, he was considered to be a what? A yatim. He was considered to be a what? A yatim. He was considered a what? A yatim. In America, that's not necessarily what? An orphan. An orphan is what? Those who? Who's born. Everybody understand this? So therefore, that's the original Islamic concept of an orphan. In our country, our time, our culture, an orphan is he who has no what? No mother or father. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear on this? Everybody understand this? So that is what constitutes an orphan in Islam. And obviously, we can't apply this unless it's in our culture as well. Somebody who doesn't have a father in the Islamic culture is considered to be a what? An orphan. So hypothetically speaking, you marry a sister, she has children, the father is now Muslim, the father is dead, the father has life in prison, the father is nowhere to be found, we don't know who the father is, as if that child is an orphan. As if he is a what? Orphan. Even though in the legal system here, he's not considered, or she's not considered a what? An orphan. Everybody understand this? Clear on that? Khayr, inshallah. As far as stepchildren, and we say, the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the best guidance. How did he deal with his stepchildren? We gave a khutbah over a year ago on the hadith of Amr ibn Abi Salima, or ibn Salama radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Sahih Bukhari and others, when he said, Ya ghulam, he said, oh young man, Samillah, say Bismillah, ukul bi yaminik, eat with your right hand, ukul mimma yalika, and eat from that which is closest to you. The companion, he said, فَمَا زَالَتْ تِلْكَ تُعْمَتِ بَعْدِ. He says, after the Prophet told me that, I continue to eat like that. I never stopped doing and implementing the instructions that he gave me. This is a very important part of the hadith in Sahih Bukhari that many people don't pay attention to. Is that after the Prophet gave him instructions, and he grew up, he continued to do what? Eat like that. In other words, the Prophet's words, what? They penetrated. And it wasn't anyone out of air. And it shows the virtue of the Sahabi, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So therefore, the Prophet ﷺ, he sat with his stepson. He ate with his stepson. And not only did he feed his stepson's body, but he fed his soul and his mind. He gave him tarbiyah. He gave him instruction. And he didn't say, oh, we're eating, it's not the time. The food has come, it's not the time. As many people say today, no, not right now. No, no questions. No, no benefit. No, not right now. It's not the time for that. The food was there. The plate was there. And also the Prophet, he didn't scorn him. He didn't say, Yebin Fulan. He didn't say, oh son of such and such. Oh son of such and such. Oh son of your mother. He said, Ya Ghulam. Nor did he call him walid, a boy. He called him a young man. So he instilled in him, Mujahid, a sense of worth, a sense of honor. You're a young man, not a boy. You're a young man. And you're not this man's son, this one's. He didn't even say my stepson. He called him Ghulam. Everybody understand this? So the Prophet, he addressed him in a certain way, and he didn't water it down. He says, eat like this. Don't eat with your left. Don't eat without saying Bismillah. Don't eat all over the place. There's manners, there's etiquette. He groomed him. And he taught him the most important concept of grooming, and that is the grooming or the etiquettes with Allah. Say Bismillah. Seek the barakah of Allah. Seek the help of Allah. Know who Allah is. That's first and foremost. Then, right hand. Then, with the plate. Everybody understand this? The narrator, the Sahabi, he says, I was a young man in the chamber of the Messenger of Allah, in his household, in where he lived. He says, وَكَانَتْ يَدِي تَطِيشُ فِي الصَّحْفَةِ. He says, and my hand was all over the platter, all over the plate. Here, there. He was loose, he was young. So the Prophet ﷺ, he taught him what to do. He taught him what to do. So this shows us the obligation that the stepfather has over the stepson, to teach him, to feed him. You have to physically feed him, take care of him. If you take on the responsibility, then it's now your responsibility. You can't say, well, I'm not his father. That's not my son. That's not my daughter. Which it isn't. But if they live in your household, and you take on the responsibility of being the stepfather, the father, it's your hut. Then when you bring home game, you have to give him some of the animal as well. And you can't just say, go to your father's hut. No. If he's living in your hut, then what? Everybody understand this? You have to feed him. You have to take care of him like he's yours. And if not, you say, what? That's not my, what? It's not my responsibility. So don't take the amana if you're not ready to do what? Fulfill the amana. Don't become the imam in the masjid if you're not willing to do what? Handle the responsibilities of the masjid. So therefore, you have to feed him from that which you feed your own son and daughter. Because that which is apparent from the hadith is that the Prophet and him ate on a what? Same plate. Allahu Akbar. This is your food here. Don't touch my stuff in the refrigerator. Right? Don't touch my cookies. Ask your mother for that. Right? Do what? Ask your ummi for hers. Don't touch my stuff. So many of us say, and that's wrong. What's mine is yours. As if you're my own son. As if. As if you're my what? My own son. Everybody clear on this? Feed them, take care of them, give them a proper place to live, teach them, educate them as if they're your own. And if you're not willing to do that, or if you can't do that, then you don't need to marry into that situation. Obviously, everything you can't do. There may be other variables, baggage, drama. Sometimes, and this is addressed to the women. Many women, they interfere with it, unfortunately. They'll interfere with the husband trying to be the role model. That's not your son. He has a father. Don't say that. No, don't do that. That's too harsh. Just do this. Fear Allah. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when he doesn't look after him, he doesn't take care of him, you complain. You complain. Hey, men are no good. They don't take care of their children. Look what they do with their sons. This is a reality. Many women, they interfere. Or even not with a stepson. Maybe your nephew. Your sister, she might say to you, where are you taking my son? What are you doing with my son? What time bring my... I thought he was my nephew. Everybody understand this? You shouldn't say that, my son. It should be, when are you bringing him back? Or, everybody understand this? They interfere. So when you try to take them under your wing, then when they interfere, then they're going to do, the next thing to do is what? Complain. See, you didn't even look after him. He has no role model in his La ilaha illallah. So there has to be a balance. You cannot interfere with that. You can give advice, you may disagree, but it has to be what? Tafaddal. That's your what? Stepson. It's not my son anymore, that's what? It's you and him. You guys have to establish a relationship. So in brief, these are the things that you have to do. And you have to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. Do not allow them to do haram, just like you wouldn't allow your children to do haram. Do not allow to enjoy and partake in things that are bad, just like you wouldn't do with your own what? With your own children. That's in brief. And if that's not the case, then it's an entire lecture, rather an entire workshop that's needed. Tarbiyah of children and of stepchildren. And that's why I pointed you to the khutbah that we did. Inshallah. The tarbiyah of children in light of the authentic sunnah.
Brothers don't mind. A question specific. If you was married to a sister and she left Islam, and that daughter, which was somebody else's daughter, are you obligated to still, like if the mother just left?
In general, yes. In general, what? Yes. In general, you are. That's not your daughter, but you were with the mother, you live with the mother, that girl was in your household. In general, yes. Everybody understand this? Because who else is going to look after her? What if she goes back to kufr, waliyadu billah, goes to kufr? That's la. The believers are awliya of each other. They are protectors what? Of each other. Allah says, I'm supposed to have your back, you're supposed to what? Have mine. If nobody got your back, and I have the ability to have your back, then it's now my what? My responsibility to do what? Look after you. Everyone understands? Wallahu a'lam. That's in brief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Any other questions? Fadal. La, no questions from the Mashaykh from overseas, man. Abu Abdurrahman, he tried to throw no questions. I'll ask you guys the questions. As'alukum. Fadal. Go ahead.
You have a question online.
Please read it, if you don't mind.
It is allowed to pray Tahajjud masjid in a room outside of the masjid on Friday prayer, a room that is used because of access people but not part of the masjid.
With regards to making that which is called Tahiyyatul Masjid on Jumu'ah, the main musalla is full. It's an extension to the main musalla because it's so full. Do you still have to pray those 2 rak'ah before you sit down, so on and so forth? That's the question. We say it is permissible for you to do that. And do you have to make Tahiyyatul Masjid or Tahiyyatul Rabbil Masjid? Kama qala San'ani bil asah. Al-Muhim, the 2 rak'ah before you sit down. The 2 rak'ah before you sit down in the musalla or any other place that is considered to be the musalla at that time should not be abandoned. And that's the clear instruction of the Prophet ﷺ, that you should do it before you sit down, no matter what time it is, whether the Imam is speaking, after Asr, after Fajr. The Prophet ﷺ, hadith Abi Qatada and Sahihain, do not sit down until you make 2 rak'ah. Rather, the Prophet ﷺ, he stopped his khutbah ﷺ, to address the man and tell him to make 2 rak'ah. And it's the strongest proof that it's wajib. And those who said it's recommended, that's not a strong view. When qala bihi akthar ahl al-ilm. Everybody understand this? So therefore, if it's the musalla at that time, consider it as the main musalla. Even though it isn't normal musalla, but at that time, it is tabi' lil musalla. It's a branch of the musalla, so you should treat it as the normal musalla. Talking, eating, drinking, while the khutbah is going on, buying, selling, and all of those different rulings of the masjid, the musalla, they should apply to that room or that yard or whatever the case may be. Unless it's totally outside of the masjid. That's a different story. You're sitting on a concrete, that's a different story. But if it's a part of the building, people are sitting down praying, listening to the khutbah, that's what should be done. Wallahu ta'ala alam. That's in brief. Tfadal.
One of the brothers mentioned earlier today that وَوَضَعَ كَفَّيْهِ عَلَى فَخِذَيْهِ. So the scholar said that he put his hands on his own thighs.
Type.
So is there anything wrong with translating to say that, is there anything wrong with saying that he put his hands on the Prophet's thighs?
Type. We say first and foremost is Barakallahu feek, Abdullah, Wafaqak Allah, Ameen. Abdullah, alhamdulillah, is from the Tulab al-Ilm in Islamic University of Medina. This is something that makes us very happy. Alhamdulillah. We ask Allah to give him success in his studies and allow him to be steadfast. Allahumma ameen. We say that, as we've explained, a hadith is understood in 2 lights or 2 scopes. The first is in the scope of the different variations of one hadith, and the second is in the light of Islam in general. We don't necessarily isolate one hadith from the rest of Islam. Nor do we isolate a hadith from the other what? Variations. And we have clearly explained that there is a variation that explicitly mentions that the Nabi al-Karim sallallahu, it was his rukbatay or his fakhiday and not Jibreel alayhi salam. So therefore, it is improper for us to remain on something that's inexplicit when we have that which is explicit. That doesn't make any sense. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear on this? So therefore, we have that which gives clear tafsir of whose hands and whose knees it was. Some people, some ulama, they may say it was Jibreel's legs, it wasn't the Prophet's legs. Perhaps they didn't know about the narration. Perhaps they don't consider the narration to be authentic. Al-Muhim is R.E.D.A. And many people now declare it to be authentic. So therefore, that those who know, they have superior knowledge for those who what? Don't know. So this narration gives more than a narration that just gives a little bit. Now, is there something with him putting his legs on the Prophet, his hands on the Prophet? It's like a yes and a no answer. From one aspect, it wasn't from their direct culture. It wasn't something that was a norm. But from another aspect, he didn't touch his awrah. Everybody understand this? He didn't touch his awrah. He said, I can't touch a brother's knee. If I sit down and say, listen, Akhi, listen. This is what you need to do. Listen, all right? Listen. What you need to do is, can't necessarily say that that's what? Haram. I'm not touching his awrah. He has no clothes. It's not lust. It's nothing dubious or doubtful. You need to talk to him intimately. Listen, pay attention. Check this out. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. So therefore, a cultural norm is one thing, and an Islamic ruling is another thing. Obviously, based off of the hadith, it wasn't a cultural norm. It wasn't something that was normal. And that was something that the people of knowledge, they say Jibreel alayhi salam, did intentionally to show the people, to wake them up more, and like this guy, like pay attention. You understand this? Wallahu ta'ala. Hopefully that's clear, inshallah. Tafadal.
Inshallah, some of the brothers come specifically for the prayer. So if we can go ahead and pray, and then if you want, we can continue the questions after.
وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله محمد. جزاكم الله خيرا. Thank you very much for your time and your attentive listening and respect. Barakallahu fikum.
You doing finish the question and answer afterwards?
Whatever the brothers want to do, inshallah. Yeah. We came here for this. Inshallah. Sorry.